We go into businesses, so we go into a furniture store. We need to inspect their refunds policy. If it is aligned to the legislation, we need to check, for example, their cancellation policy. We have gyms. I was just speaking to one gentleman here that worked for a particular gym. Even the signs that we see, no refunds, no returns.
Yes.
Some, like you say, some shops you go in and you wonder, like, why are they selling to consumers? But it must be reported to us because those signs are illegal. If the consumer buy a product and the product is defective or it's unsafe and it's not fit for use, they have the right to take it back. So that sign doesn't mean anything.
The Lunchtime Redux, Mondays to Fridays. From 12 to 3 p.m. on TUT FM.
Kaya nung muna ko yun ay kinali lamo ko pura man kiri kinali ni man. Milly Viljoen du mela mama.
Dumelang. Riteng.
Riteng. Ya nung couplet ora nung kipu ya sing. Milly Viljoen, key director of education, awareness and stakeholder relations. The mo department of economic development. With Gauteng Office of Consumer Affairs. Who or what is Consumer Affairs? Gauteng Office of Consumer Affairs.
The Office of Consumer Affairs, our primary responsibility is to protect the interests of consumers. So how do we protect the interests of consumers? So now here, anybody that buys goods and services. So if I go into any of the shops here, I go and buy groceries, or I go and buy a furniture set, a lounge suite, you are a consumer. When you buy food, you are a consumer. When you buy a cell phone contract, you buy a service. So that's his goods and services. So anybody that buys goods and services, we protect them if there are disputes in the situations that now I need to take the goods back. It's faulty, or it's not working as it should. Then our office is there in terms of complaints that can be lodged with us. We also then, obviously, how do we further protect consumers? Events like today.
Yes,
We're here at Shoshanguve Crossing. We're handing out information. We're empowering consumers on their rights. What are their rights? How can they complain when they do have complaints? So that they don't know, they're not destitute, and we protect them from being exploited. And I think it's also important, it's just because even businesses, small businesses with an annual turnover of less than 2 million rand, can also come to us. They don't have to go and pay lawyers to represent them when they have disputes.
You have already provided some of the services. The Office of Consumer Affairs. That was my next question.
Yeah.
And when I get what are the services provided by the Office of Consumer Affairs? You did mention some.
Yeah.
Maybe you can go deeper into it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because part of it, like we say, we do education and awareness. We do, like if there's complaints that consumers have, they lodge the complaints. But we're also proactive in the sense that we do what we call compliance inspections, where we go into businesses. So we go into a furniture store. We need to inspect their refunds policy. If it is aligned to the legislation, we need to check, for example, their cancellation policy. We have gyms. I was just speaking to one gentleman here that worked for a particular gym.
Yeah. You talking about compliance and all this stuff. I've been in so many stores, so many supermarkets, so many places where I'm a consumer.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any. There are some stores by the look of my naked eye, it's not a good store to shop at. I wonder if the economic development are doing enough for the compliance. Are you doing inspections?
You're 100%. I don't think we do enough. As an office. We do what we call, multi-stakeholder disciplinary inspections because of, obviously, in terms of our office, we've got limited capacity.
Yes.
So, but to make an impact, to be able to reach out, we partner up with, for example, with your national credit regulator. We are here with them, your ICASAs, the South African Police Services, if we encounter problems. It's particularly even if with the environmental health, if we spec spaza shops, for example. So we need to go in as a multi-team so that some have, authority to remove goods from the shop, from the shelves if they are non-compliant. Our office, for example, do not have that power. So that's why it's important that we then join hands with other regulators as well. And the other issue is that, yes, we're talking products that's non-compliant, but even the signs that we see, no refunds, no returns, in some, like you say, some shops you go in and you wonder, like, why are they selling to consumers? But it must be reported to us because those signs are illegal. If the consumer buy a product and the product is defective or it's unsafe and it's not fit for use, they have the right to take it back. So that sign doesn't mean anything.
Really?
It's only when I voluntarily take the product, I buy this laptop. Now I get home, I don't like the color, or I feel that the laptop is too big for my child doesn't want it. Then the store can say that, no, but we are not going to give you your money back. We'll give you something else. Exchange, yes.
So who or what is a consumer?
Like anybody that buys goods and services. So basically, you see, that's how broad our industry is. So if you buy insurance, for your phone, if you buy insurance for your car, if you buy, like we say, you buy a car, you are a consumer. If you buy groceries, you are a consumer. So anybody that buys goods and services are then deemed as a consumer. And again, like we said, and this is not well known, and we need to do more as an office in terms of making sure that the small businesses we see here, along a lot of small businesses, they need to know that if I am a small business, I'm selling quotas, and for example, I buy a fridge to keep my cool drinks cold. That fridge is defective, and I bought it at Macro. You can come to us and we'll also be able to assist you free of charge as long as your annual turnover is less than 2 million rand.
No, this year you already explained some goods, wrong color and stuff.
Yes.
What if I have a complaint on a certain product or a service? What are the procedures that I need to follow?
With the complaints procedures, we always advise consumers is, number one, go back to the store, or the salesperson that sold you the particular product or service, and make it and keep your receipts. I think that's also very important, Keep your receipts, keep your little, your terms and conditions, your little contract, your installment sale agreement that you got from the shop. Those are very important. So when you go back to the store and then you then have records and you have everything in writing. So if you then don't have, at the shop level, they don't ask for them to escalate to the manager. But even so, sometimes we try and do that, but we as consumers are just ignored. Then definitely you come to offices such as the Gauteng Office of Consumer Affairs, and we'll be able then to assist you. And the services are completely free of charge.
Like you indicated, I have a funny question. I don't know how you're going to answer it. I bought a pair of underwears from a certain stores. When I get home, find out that no, this is not my size. Can I return it? Because there's a certain policy that says underwear is not returnable.
Yeah, look, in terms of, the Health Act, there's certain products, the same, for example, with medication. Once you've opened the medication, then you cannot take it back and say that, no, but I don't like the taste of it. The only time here, I'm just diverting a bit in terms of medication, is if you then realize, I bought the Panado for the child. When I got home, when I checked the expiry date, it had expired. Then you can take it back. And then the shop or the pharmacy must give you 100% a refund or another bottle. But in terms of, obviously for health reasons, things like underwears are not exchangeable. So that's why, always make sure that you know the size. And if you buy it as a gift, also insist that you know the size.
What about when I go to a certain store, maybe a food store or something?
Yeah.
I got there because I saw an advert very tasty advert on TV, and I go to the store, I buy. It's not something that I saw on the TV. What are my rights?
That's one of your rights at you as a consumer, because what we call that is deceptive marketing. Remember, you put that advert out. But when I then go, the quality is not the same as what you depicted. So you've got the right then as a consumer to lodge a complaint. You've got the right to insist on the product that you saw. The same thing like we spoke last time about the shelf talk.
Yes.
In terms of the pricing, I was just like, had an incident in one of the garages. When I opened the fridge, I bought a 2-liter cool drink. It was a different price. So when I got to the till, they charged me 5 rand more. Then I said, no, but I want to pay that price.
Exactly, yes.
So it's deceptive marketing. You cannot. If you advertise a laptop,
yes,
and you advertise it at at a certain price, when I get inside the store, you cannot tell me, no, but that was just for that marketing. You should specify on the catalog, we only have 5 in store, limited stock available, or, and the date at which the special lasts, from this date to this date.
There are some stores on credit policy.
Yeah.
They will tell you 6 months to pay. And I take this product knowing that I'll be paying in 6 months' time. Now they call me in 2 months to settle. What am I right? Why am I settling? Because you gave me 6 months to pay this particular product. Now after 2 months, you call me to settle the whole thing. What am I right on that?
No, but again, that's why we call your right to fair terms and conditions.
Yes.
In terms of the fairness of it is that you've entered into the agreement knowing that you will then pay over a 6-month period. And that is why it's important for consumers to keep their contracts, keep their agreements that you enter into. They cannot coerce you, now forcing you to come and settle. I bought it. It's the same thing when I buy something on lay-by.
Yes.
I lay-by something, and then that's also what we encourage consumers to do. Instead of buying on credit, rather lay-by things, because it's as good as cash. But now, if I lay-by the product, and after 6 months, when I go, I don't find the microwave or that I lay-by, and now you want to give me something that is cheaper. No, the store, your right as a consumer is to get the equivalent. It's either the same microwave, or they must give you a superior product,
yes,
or they must give you a full refund.
On terms of that, we enter into contract because
Yeah.
we need a product. Imagine I'm going to buy a big TV. They give me these papers I need to read. I don't have time to
Yeah.
read. I just need to sign and take my product home. And
Yeah.
we're busy on consumers' rights. There is another one, disclosure of personal information. They say we have a right to disclose. But then what about those telemarketing? Calling me, not knowing where do they get my numbers. They're trying to sell something to me. They even ask for my ID number. I ask question, where did you find me? Why are you selling to
Yeah.
me? Well, what am I right pertaining to that? Because these people, I don't know, a certain company say, Bona, we're selling this, give us your ID number. What am I right on that particular telemarketing?
In terms of telemarketing, you also have a right to opt out. There's SMSs that we receive.
Yes.
Ne? It will tell you that you have a right to opt out of the database, so that they cannot contact you, so that third parties cannot contact you. So that's basically your right to that. But what we caution consumers is that you correctly said that when I go and I sign contracts, when I buy on credit,
Yes.
when I open an account, I don't read the documents
Yes.
properly, and then I just tick the boxes. Or sometimes, the salespeople or they pressurize you and say, okay, just sign, I'll fill in everything else, and then they tick those boxes that I want to be and then they sell your information to third parties that now phones you for all sorts of products. So that's why we're saying, don't be careful. Say no, I don't want to be contacted, so that they cannot contact you and sell you all sorts of products that you don't need.
Then what are my responsibilities as a consumer? Now we talk about consumer rights, and then
Yeah.
there's lots. But
Yeah.
what are my responsibilities as a consumer?
One of your responsibilities as a consumer is definitely, like we talk about these contracts. Let's read it. If you don't understand it, and remember, the stores must give it to you like, what they call a quotation,
Yes.
so that you can go home and then see if this is really what I want. So that full disclosure of cost, if I want to open or I want to buy a car, it must tell me exactly what the interest is going to be, what the cost price of the car going to be over whatever period, and then you can go back and make up your mind. So read those documents and get people, if you don't understand it, get somebody that can explain it to you. But very important with contracts, with information. As a consumer, you have the right to have it in language of your choice.
Yes.
That you understand. Asitswana.
Yes.
That you understand. And it must be in plain, simple language. Let's leave this legal, jargon.
Yeah.
Not all of us are lawyers.
Then the consumer champions. What do you have any jurisdictions? What are the jurisdictions of the consumer champions? Gauteng Office of Consumer Affairs. What are the jurisdictions?
The consumer champions, that's an interesting aspect. This is a project that we've launched. It's now the third year that it's running, where we're making use of unemployed graduates. And then we recruit them to be able to assist us to basically create awareness in their communities. So, for example, in Hammanskraal, so we've recruited in Hammanskraal 20 consumer champions that will be this information that we are talking about now,
yes.
Consumer rights, the booklets, where are the officers, if you have a complaint, they will go and educate their communities. So that is what the consumer champions do. They get a stipend that they are paid. We used to work through GCRA, Gauteng City Region Academy. Now we're looking at stipends being paid by the services CETAs, for example. So those youths come in very handy to make sure that we create the awareness and people know about our offices. So that is the main purpose with these champions.
And then where do I go if I have a complaint against a business that trades nationally?
The businesses that trade nationally goes to the National Consumer Commission,
Okay.
for example, because we only have jurisdiction within, Gauteng. So basically, the consumer and the business must both be in Gauteng. And then the complaint is then dealt with. But it doesn't mean if I come from, say, Limpopo, and I buy here in Tshwane, and now I have a problem because I'm staying in Limpopo, my complaint cannot be resolved. If you refer it to our office, we deal also what we call referral protocols with the Limpopo Consumer Affairs Office.
That would be a journey, huh? From pillar post to pillar, whatever English saying.
No, but that is why we work together, so
Yes.
that the consumer doesn't be sent from pillar to post. So we will then work together on the matter to try and resolve it for the consumer.
And there's some complaints. It goes back to jurisdiction.
Yeah.
What types of complaints that the office cannot deal with?
Yeah, the personal sales. The issue, like if you buy a car from a second-hand dealer, remember, it's a dealer, it's a
yes.
business. And the ordinary course of business, they're selling cars. That, whether they're registered or not registered, you can come lodge a complaint with us if the car is defective or they sold you is it a code 3? Cars that involve in an accident and they didn't disclose that to you. So there you can lodge a complaint and get your full money back. But if I buy my car from you, it's a personal sale.
Yes.
Then if I have a problem, I cannot come to the Consumer Affairs Office and said, because it's a personal sale, unfortunately. So the same thing with the issue of footstoots.
Yes.
If you buy from a car dealer, there's no such thing as footstoots, only at an auction. So, and then also divorce cases, we can't deal with that.
There's no consumer
other government cases such as SASSA complaints.
Now, I want to ikolaganya le champions, consumer champions. How do I contact the GOCA?
Yes, now we have regional offices because, again, we want to make sure that consumers, like you just said, you know, we can't send them from pillar to post. We don't expect you to come all the way to 56 Elof Street. That's where our head office is in. But we also have regional office right in the CBD in Tshwane.
Yes.
Where we have it's called Center Walk, second floor. It's 266 Pretoria Street. That's where the office is, right? In central Pretoria. And then the telephone number is also 012-402-9100. I'll just repeat it. It's 012-402-9100. Or you can come for walk-in for advice on contracts. Before you sign those contracts, come in. We'll be able to give you free advice. And then our email address, you know, now everything is digital. We consumer@gauteng.gov.za. Consumer@gauteng.gov.za. You can email that, your complaint, and then we'll be able to assist you as well.
Okay. One more last question. We talk about consumer affairs, consumer rights, consumer debt, consumer diet. Are you perhaps are you acquainted with the Human Rights Commission?
Yeah, we work with Chapter 9 institutions as well, like the Public Protector's Office, because like we're saying, there's some matters that we cannot deal with. That we, like, for example, if you have issues with your rates and taxes with Tshwane, you know, municipality, and they've disconnected you, or you know, or you've been paying them and they still disconnect you. So those are matters that unfortunately that we cannot deal with. And so we would then also refer, you know, to the Public Protector's Office if you have a complaint against a clinic where the nurses were treating you badly. We have a no wrong door policy. We will take the complaint but send it to the correct institution, your Chapter 9. If you've been, you know, one of the consumer rights is that you can't be discriminated against based on your gender, race, you know. So that's a human rights issue, like you're saying. Do we deal with the Human Rights Commission? So if we get similar complaints like that, where consumers' dignity has been, like, you know, done in, for example, because the shop doesn't like how I look, and then they say, no, you can't come and buy here because they don't like your sexuality. That is a human rights issue, and we refer it to them.
All right. Crossing Renale a consumer champions. Kialabo Milly Viljoen, Milly Viljoen, director education awareness and stakeholder relations. Compienur Nalebone motating la Cajeno le Laborariana, Ritzloco Buaka. Consumer affairs, listening with about Wakatsanaquano, Gabona, national credit regulations, Liborabatinquano, Remoro, Fitapaleka, Urabararo, Naloena, Calaboca, Mefeljun.
The Lunchtime Redux, Mondays to Fridays, from 12 to 3 p.m. on TUT FM.